Jake Harris had always found solace among the whirs and hums of machinery. Familiar with every nut and bolt of the aging spacecraft that littered the desolate space yard, he found purpose fixing the forgotten relics of a bygone era. One ordinary afternoon, however, the tranquility of his mundane existence shattered when a piercing streak of light tore through the twilight sky. Curiosity struck like a lightning bolt, and Jake dropped his tools, racing outside to witness the inexplicable sight. A small spacecraft spiraled down from the heavens, crashing mere yards away. Heart-pounding, he approached the smoking wreck, wary yet captivated. Emerging from the debris like a phoenix was an otherworldly figure, a striking alien woman with skin that shimmered like starlight and eyes that held the universe's mysteries. Jane staggered from the wreckage, her features twisted in terror as she scanned her surroundings. "Please help me," she implored, her voice a melodic song laced with desperation. Despite not fully comprehending her words, Jake felt an irresistible urge to assist her. What kind of creature was this? What danger had she fled? He had never ventured into galactic affairs, but her fear resonated within him deeply. As he helped her into his nearby workshop, Jane recounted her harrowing tale through a mix of gestures and strained syllables. The fear in her expressive eyes revealed she was a fugitive from a brutal regime, escaping a forced marriage to Kor, a powerful warlord known for tyranny and violence. Jake was mesmerized, not only by her beauty, but also by the plight she faced. "Will you pretend to be my husband?" she begged, a faint flicker of hope igniting in her gaze. The word struck him like a thunderclap. He was an average man, thrust into an extraordinary scenario. Yet, as he met her pleading gaze, he felt his heart race. Without fully understanding the gravity of the decision, he nodded. Little did he know that this choice would propel him into a cosmos of intrigue and conflict, entwining their destinies in a way neither could foresee. The hum of the workshop faded away as Jane and Jake settled into an uneasy alliance. Amidst the scattered remnants of spacecraft parts, Jane retrieved a peculiar device from her pocket, its surface shimmering with an ethereal glow. The device projected an image of her world, a vibrant realm filled with colossal crystalline structures and bustling alien life. Yet, the beauty was marred by the specter of Kor, looming menacingly over her vibrant city, a tyrant ensnaring her in a web of darkness. Tears glimmered in Jane's eyes as she described her forced betrothal, the fate that awaited her if they failed. She painted a picture of Kor's iron grip, how he crushed the spirit of her people, asserting dominance with sheer brutality. The frustration that filled her voice stirred something primal within Jake, igniting a fierce protectiveness that he never knew existed. "I need a husband to escape," she implored, her voice tinged with desperation. "If I'm caught, I will be punished." Jake's heart raced at the audacity of her request. He was a mechanic, not an interstellar hero. His life was confined to the dusty corners of this workshop. Nevertheless, the mere thought of Jane being dragged back into that hellish existence sent shivers down his spine. What if she was telling the truth? "Okay, I will help," he said, the words surprising even himself. Jane's eyes lit up with gratitude, illuminating her face with a radiant glow that momentarily obscured the fear lurking beneath her exterior. They spent hours crafting their narrative, an elaborate web of fabrications that spun tales of their love and commitment, rooted in mutual trust and respect. But as the night wore on, Jake's internal conflict surfaced. Would he truly be able to protect her, to embody the husband she needed? The stakes were high, and as Jane expressed her gratitude, he couldn't shake the feeling that he was stepping into a role much larger than himself. With a sense of determination blooming within, he resolved to navigate this new reality alongside Jane, unaware of the perilous journey that awaited them. With their plan in motion, Jake and Jane set about preparing for their shared charade. Jane produced vibrant alien garments that glimmered under the workshop's fluorescent lights, intricately woven fabrics that simulated both elegance and power. Standing before a cracked mirror, Jake donned the attire, the alien patterns clashing stubbornly with his rugged earth clothing. Jane began teaching him the nuances of her culture, significant gestures, how to bow in respect, and even phrases that rolled off her tongue like a poetic verse. Her patience was unwavering, her laughter breaking the tension as he clumsily attempted the complex movements. Yet each lesson felt like a fleeting moment of connection, and beneath the surface of their pretense, something profound began to stir. "Why did you leave your home?" Jake asked during a break, curiosity tinging his voice. Jane's laughter faded, replaced by solemnity. "To be free. Kor sought to crush my spirit, to make me a trophy for his collection. Women like me are viewed as mere tools, nothing more than pawns in a game of power." The weight of her words settled heavily within Jake's heart. He understood that this wasn't merely an act. It was a fight for self-determination and dignity. While he had agreed to help, he realized he had been drawn into a mission that intertwined their lives irrevocably. As preparations continued, Jake discovered the flicker of excitement that coursed through him at the possibility of adventure. The allure of the unknown beckoned, promising a world that surpassed his wildest dreams. With each passing moment, the gap between them closed as fears morphed into something exhilarating. Finally, with a deep breath, Jake looked into Jane's eyes, determination welling up within him. "Tonight we begin our new lives," he declared, emboldened by the thought of standing aside her side, not just as an ally or a husband, but as a partner ready to confront whatever lay ahead. The ship glided through the void of space, stars twinkling like distant promises. Soon, they neared Jane's home planet, the horizon ablaze with colors that defied earthly descriptions. As the atmosphere encased them, Jake's heart raced. He was about to immerse himself in a world that felt both alien and captivating. Upon landing, Jane quickly ushered him toward her village, a burst of life filled with creatures of all shapes and sizes. Every step Jake took was awash with wonder as he absorbed the exotic surroundings, stalls overflowing with iridescent fruits and enchanting melodies bouncing off the walls of crystalline structures. "Welcome to my world," Jane smiled, eyes sparkling with pride. Yet even as wonder enveloped him, Jake felt the weight of their deception. With each interaction, the truth hung heavily on his shoulders. Jane named him Zell, weaving a narrative of a love that blossomed against all odds, but he found it challenging to fit the mold of an alien husband. His clumsy attempts at embracing the rich customs often resulted in stifled laughter and awkward pauses. Amidst the celebrations, Jane's presence was magnetic, her laughter infectious. Eventually, the authenticity of their partnership began to shine through, blurring the lines of their fabricated identities. As they danced under the fading light, Jake felt alive as never before. He was no longer just a mechanic. He was a man experiencing the beauty of another world, alongside the woman who had stirred something powerful within him. But lurking beneath the festivities was an inevitable tension, a shadow that followed them. Kor's minions were always somewhere close, and with every passing moment, Jake's anxiety grew. What if they found them among the revelry? What if their masquerade unraveled? As laughter echoed around them, Jake clung to Jane's hand, their bond a lifeline tethering them together in uncertainty, igniting within him a fierce resolve to protect her at all costs. The vibrant festival atmosphere quickly turned ominous when the uncertainty of their situation pressed against them. As they navigated through joyous clusters of friends and family, the air thickened with an unshakable sense of danger. Jake's instincts screamed at him. That tangible feeling of being hunted lingered like a specter, ever watchful. That evening morphed into a moment of revelry when suddenly a group of Kor's henchmen burst into the celebration, their eyes scanning for Jane. The world around them fell silent, and panic gripped Jake. He felt small amidst the throng, the towering figures of the minions casting long shadows across the festival. "Jane!" he whispered urgently, grabbing her arm. "We have to get out of here." But before they could make their escape, one of the guards spotted them, recognition flickering like a flame igniting fire. "There she is! Get her!" he growled, drawing his weapon. Without a second thought, Jake positioned himself between Jane and her pursuers. "You won't take her," he shouted, adrenaline surging within him. Rage and protectiveness coursed through his veins as the skirmish erupted. He had trained in earth martial arts before. How long would that knowledge carry him against these foes? The fight broke out violently, and instinct kicked in. Jane, equally poised, fought by his side, her skills honed from years of surviving Kor's oppression. Together, they became an unstoppable force. Dodging blows and redirecting attacks, their movements fluid and synchronized. But the sheer number of adversaries began to overwhelm them. Just as fear threatened to consume him, Jake glanced at Jane. Her fierce determination fueled his resolve. He couldn't fail her. With a primal roar, he charged forward, launching himself into the fray. As they navigated the chaos, a reckless bravery overtook Jake, leading to a desperate escape through narrow alleys and winding paths. They evaded their pursuers, but the taste of danger lingered in the air. Panting heavily, they found a moment to regroup, adrenaline pumping through their veins. "I can't go back," Jane breathed, panic crystallizing in her eyes. Jake felt a surge of determination. "Then we won't let them catch you," he vowed. With renewed resolve, they pressed on, side by side, ready to face whatever challenges awaited them in this new reality. After the harrowing encounter with Kor's henchmen, Jane and Jake found themselves retreating to a hidden safe house, an ancient dwelling adorned with intricate murals depicting Jane's heritage. Relief washed over them, but the shadows of impending danger loomed ever closer. To distract from the weight of their reality, Jane proposed they participate in a cultural ceremony, an annual event celebrated by her people to honor resilience against oppression. Though Jake felt inadequate, an outsider amidst rituals he did not understand, Jane's enthusiasm was contagious. As night fell, the community gathered, wearing vibrant garments and facing a grand effigy of unity adorned with crystals that sparkled like stars. Jane stepped into the rhythm of the ceremony, demonstrating joyful movements that sparked laughter among the crowd. Yet amid the celebrations, Jake struggled to keep pace. Missteps in his attempts at encapsulating alien customs drew amused glances, a tide of laughter rising like a wave. He wore a mask of determination, but inside, insecurity clawed at him. These were moments he wished to share with Jane, yet his earth clumsiness made him feel like a jester at a royal court, powerless to harmonize. But as he stumbled, Jane's eyes shone with patience and encouragement, prompting him to let go. Together they began to dance, not for spectacle, but for each other. In that moment, the disparate pieces of their lives intertwined, forging something wholly new between them. Jake's laughter mingled with Jane's as he let the music guide him, feeling the joy radiate from her. They were more than a masked husband and a runaway bride. They were two souls linked by an invisible thread of hope, laughter, and a shared sense of belonging. But upon returning to the safe house, the weight of reality resurfaced. Their bond, while genuine and thrilling, faced insurmountable challenges. Intrigue was outweighed by the risks tethering them to Kor. It couldn't last, could it? Could love thrive amidst darkness? As they prepared for a new day, those questions loomed ominously, echoing through their burgeoning relationship. As days turned to nights, Jake and Jane remained vigilant, acutely aware that Kor's grip was tightening. Tension electrified the air, filling every moment with unspoken dread. Jane, more than once, glanced over her shoulder, fear shadowing her movements. One fateful night, while they huddled together discussing their next steps, a determined knock echoed through their sanctuary. Adrenaline coursed through Jake's veins as Jane stiffened beside him, fear glistening in her eyes. Before they could react, the door burst open. Kor stood there, massive and imposing, flanked by his men. "You think you could escape me?" he snarled, voice dripping with contempt. "You've had your fun. Now it's time to pay the price for defiance." Jake instinctively stepped in front of Jane, heart racing. "You won't take her." He felt the weight of every moment they had spent together, the laughter, the shared fears, and it fueled a primal rage within him. The battle that ensued was chaos incarnate. Kor's henchmen surged forward, and for a fleeting moment Jake faltered. He was not a soldier. He was a mechanic, a simple man caught in a storm. But Jane's fierce determination fueled his resolve, and he became a whirlwind of motion, wielding whatever came to hand, a wrench, a discarded chair, as he fought defensively against their attackers. Jane moved with an elegance he admired, her agility and strength a testament to her resilience. It was as if they danced together again, synchronizing their moves in a desperate attempt to emerge unscathed. Yet Kor overshadowed them. His looming presence felt like a net tightening around them. He was relentless. As the dust settled, Jake's vision sharpened. He caught sight of a weapon lying on the ground, a blaster that had escaped the chaos. In a moment of clarity, driven by his instinct to protect, he lunged for it. The look of surprise on Kor's face as Jake pointed it directly at him gave Jake a sense of power he hadn't felt before. "Get out!" Jake shouted, fires of fury igniting within him. Kor hesitated, revealing a flicker of uncertainty before retreating, eyes still burning with malice. As the henchman followed, Jake felt adrenaline surge, realizing they had won this round. Breathless, they regrouped, Jane's eyes wide with admiration and disbelief. "You did that," she breathed, disbelief tinged with awe. With newfound determination binding them together, Jake realized this battle had evolved beyond mere pretense. It was a battlefield for their hearts and souls, a promise solidifying within their bond. With Kor's threat still looming over them, Jane and Jake returned to the hangar, where remnants of her spaceship lay dormant. Desperation meant time was no luxury. As Jake examined the ship, a mix of determination and dread settled in. The ship wasn't just a means of escape. It was hope tangled with urgency. "I know this ship isn't pristine," Jake insisted, fingers brushing the battered metal. "But I can fix it. We can escape together." The weeks of preparing for this moment had been fraught with uncertainty, yet Jake felt the thrill of purpose surging back. With Jane's guidance, they dove into repairs, scavenging parts and piecing together what remained. Every clang of metal, every spark that flew, ignited Jake's resolve, filling him with exhilaration. The act of creation felt alive, grounding him in a chaotic world swarming with threats. Jane was a constant source of support, her laughter and encouragement filling the air as they worked side by side. With her deft hands guiding him, Jake learned not only about the mechanics of alien technology, but also about the richness of her culture. What started as a simple maintenance task transformed into a shared adventure, with every successful fix invigorating their connection. Moments of playful flirting punctuated their efficiency. Jane's eyes sparkled with mischief as she challenged him to complete repairs within a ticking clock, igniting a playful competition that made hard work a thrilling game. Yet, in the back of Jake's mind, Kor loomed ominously. As the ship began showing signs of life, reality pressed down. Each moment that passed increased the risk of being discovered. "We need to hurry," Jane reminded him, voice tinged with urgency. With each passing day, they grew closer, yet the specter of Kor's retribution hung heavy. With the ship ready, they exchanged determined glances, feelings of apprehension swirling in the air. "We're doing this," Jake said, steeling himself for their leap into the unknown, a future unfurling before them like uncharted territory. The moment of truth arrived like a shock to the system as Jake and Jane launched the repaired ship into space. The soft hum of the engines filled the cockpit, a comforting sound amid the chaos. Stars winked at them, their brilliance a stark reminder of the vastness stretching before them. Yet, amid the awe, a chill of dread filled the air. The imminent danger was still very real. "Systems operational," Jane reported with a mix of exhilaration and unease. But just as she spoke, the alarms blared with a piercing urgency. Jake's heart dropped as the radar lit up, revealing Kor's fleet fast approaching, dark shadows against the starry canvas. "Hang on," Jake barked, instinctively flipping switches, thrusting them forward, diving into the stars to escape. Kor's fleet spilled onto the radar, an angry swarm prepared to hunt them down. With each pulse of the engine, urgency surged through Jake as he navigated through clouds of asteroids, expertly weaving in and out while dodging laser fire. "Coordinates! Give me coordinates!" Jake shouted, adrenaline pumping as he focused on the ever-encroaching threat. "Engaging evasive maneuvers," Jane called, her voice piercing through the chaos. She piloted the ship with newfound confidence, cheering him on even as blaster shots lit up the darkness around them. Beneath the weight of breathless exhilaration, they became a singular force, a team born from chaos. The sleek curves of asteroids and debris became their allies as they maneuvered through the treacherous expanse, each move choreographed with a sense of urgency. They dodged through fields that felt alive, a pulsating dance of survival and fate. Just as they managed to gain distance, Corps' flagship emerged from the depths of the stars with its imposing silhouette. The tension in Jake's gut tightened, but they pressed on, the void echoing with the roars of the battle that loomed ahead. "We must take defensive positions," Corps' voice commanded, the log buzzing ominously across the ship's intercom. Jake felt a rush of anger. This was no longer just about survival. It was a fight for Jane's future, and he would not let Corps drag her back into despair. With a fierce resolve, the duo hunched over controls, harmonizing perfectly, prepared to face whatever storm awaited them in the cosmos. The battle that would determine their destinies was about to unfold, fear morphing into an exhilarating necessity, fueling their every move. The chaos of the chase subsided as Jane and Jake managed to evade Corps' forces, finding temporary refuge in the dense debris of a nearby asteroid field. Amid the rugged terrain, they took stock of their situation, breathless and pulsating with adrenaline. They had outrun the predators, but for how long? "We need allies," Jane emphasized, determination etched into her every feature. "There are factions here who may help us, Glorians. They're neutral, but they respect strength." The name struck a chord with Jake, stories of the Glorians echoing in his mind, skilled diplomats and warriors who wielded advanced technology. "How do we find them?" he asked, hope blossoming as they plotted a course to the heart of their territory. Navigating the complex asteroid field, they dodged hazards and debris until they finally reached a vibrant cluster of bioluminescent flora, casting soft hues of blue and green against the darkness. As they approached, the radiant ships of the Glorians appeared, shimmering vessels gliding gracefully through the air, delicate yet powerful. Upon landing, they were met by an imposing figure, the Glorian commander, a being of extraordinary presence. "State your name and purpose," he commanded, eyes sharp and assessing. "We seek refuge and assistance from Corps," Jane stated boldly, unyielding in her commitment to confronting her past. The Glorian commander scrutinized them, his gaze piercing into their truths. After a long moment, he finally leaned forward. "Your fight is our fight. We shall join forces against tyranny." The relief flooded over Jake like a warm wave, a spark of camaraderie igniting among them. Under the Glorian command, Jane and Jake learned new tactics and strategies, their training sharpening with each passing moment. The sheer brilliance of Glorian technology amazed Jake, turning ships into intricate machines infused with luminescent energy. With the newfound allies, Jake felt emboldened, realizing the strength that comes from unity and purpose. They shared stories, laughter echoing in the midst of plans forged in the fires of rebellion. Together, they began to craft a strategy to confront Corps, igniting a bond that illuminated the path toward freedom. As the Glorians pledged their support, Jake saw a glimpse of the future stretching before them, an intertwined path brimming with hope and strength. They weren't just fighting for their lives. They were igniting a spark in the galaxy that had long been dimmed, a chance to reclaim resilience and dignity for worlds beyond their own. Days turned into fleeting moments as Jake and Jane prepared for the final assault against Corps and his armies. The urgency thickened the air, tension both exhilarating and frightening. Each strategy session revealed depths of fear mingled with the promise of liberation. While the Glorians proved invaluable allies, Jake struggled to navigate the mantle of leadership thrust upon him, the weight of responsibility pressing on his shoulders. One night, under the starlit canopy, their camaraderie turned into an emotional tempest. "What if I fail you?" he blurted, frustration bubbling to the surface. "What if I lead everyone into a trap? I'm just a mechanic." Jane's expression shifted, her usually bright demeanor tempered with concern. "You are more than that, Jake. You've fought beside me. You've faced danger. Trust yourself as I trust you." Her voice was firm, yet tender, cutting through his self-doubt. "But how can I face Corps? He's a monster," Jake implored, the gravity of the situation settling heavily on him. He felt exposed, an imposter as cracks began to reveal his insecurities. In the silence that followed, Jane stepped closer, her eyes steady against theirs. Every moment we've shared, each trial, every victory has shaped us. I know you can be a hero. And even if I were to lose, my choice to fight would mean more than cowering under fear." Her words landed with undeniable weight, evoking a swirl of emotions within Jake. As they locked eyes, he recognized the depth of their bond, trust born from vulnerability, growing as they navigated through chaos together. In each shared struggle, they had ignited the flames of resilience, setting the stage for a fierce showdown. The tension lifted, replaced by renewed determination as they solidified their strategies alongside their Glorian allies. Jake felt a surge of confidence blooming within him, a spark of potential. They were a united force, ready to reclaim her future from Core. As the day of reckoning dawned, Jake resolved to embrace this chance, no longer shying away from the mantle of responsibility. He would protect Jane and confront the adversary who threatened their existence. Armed with trust and the hope forged through adversity, Jake and Jane prepared for the ultimate fight against darkness, their futures intertwined like the stars above them. The climax approached swiftly as the planets aligned for an epic confrontation against Core. Jake stood alongside Jane and their allies, hearts pounding as dawn broke over the horizon, illuminating the path toward destiny. Hope tinged their breaths, mingling with the intoxicating anticipation that danced through the air. On board the Glorian ships, Jake now felt a surge of energy coursing through him. As they approached Core's flagship, a behemoth of darkness, he felt the resolve of their alliance pressed against him. "Today we fight for freedom," he proclaimed, rallying the troops alongside Jane. The battle commenced with a cacophony of thundering explosions, blaster fire illuminating the void in a dance of chaos. The Glorian ships glided like ethereal specters, maneuvering expertly amidst the rain of enemy fire, while Jake piloted their craft with determination and grit honed by their training. As they approached the flagship, Core's voice bellowed through that intercom once more, a chilling taunt laced with venom. "You cannot win. Your rebellion is futile." But Jake felt invigorated. Their defiance was becoming stronger than Core's malice. With audacious precision, Jane navigated the ship through tight formations, evading enemy fire while aiming for critical systems of Core's ship. The adrenaline surged within, turning fear into resolve. Their every move wove a tapestry of resistance beneath the oppressive weight of Core's tyranny. Jake and Jane exchanged glances, unspoken understanding passing between them amid the chaos. They were no longer simply allies. They had transformed into partners, united by love and purpose. With each blast that soared from their ship, they felt the tide turn. The final confrontation with Core approached as they breached the inner sanctum of his ship. Together they faced him, the looming figure of the warlord who sought to claim Jane. "You think you can oppose me?" Core roared, fury and arrogance radiating from him. "No, we don't think, we know," Jane countered, stepping beside Jake, their resolve unyielding as they charged forth. The battle culminated as they faced Core, pouring everything they had into this fight. They were one force against the shadows of the past, embodying a united front against all odds. This was their moment, one they had forged amidst darkness, fear, and uncertainty. Together, they'd reclaim not just Jane's future, but reshape a galaxy yearning for hope. With Core finally defeated, silence fell over the wreckage of what moments ago had been chaos. The vastness of space stretched out before them, and surrounding them were warm shimmers of light representing the Glorians. They had triumphed, but at what cost? Tension ebbed, replaced by a profound sense of hope blooming like flowers after a tempest. As Jake surveyed the aftermath, he felt a surge of emotions cascading within. Core lay vanquished, but the echoes of their battles lingered like an old song. They had faced their fears, fought for freedom, and, in doing so, found something far greater, an unbreakable bond. Turning toward Jane, he witnessed the light in her eyes, a flicker of dreams reigniting amidst the ashes. "What's next for us?" Jake asked, heart pounding, a mix of excitement and apprehension. The weight of the universe seemed to balance on this question, a fork in their shared path. Jane stepped closer, eyes glimmering. We reclaim not only our lives but also our futures. Together we can explore beyond this world. We can build a life, a new beginning." Jake couldn't help but grin, realizing that he had been forever changed. The adventure they forged, the new allies they made, all felt like the first notes of a symphony. "We'll explore the stars, discover new worlds, and fight for those who can't fight for themselves," he responded, resolve firming in his voice. The galaxy awaited, an uncharted territory filled with uncertainty and promise. As they turned toward the stars, hand in hand, Jake took a deep breath, ready to step into the endless possibilities that lay ahead. They were survivors, warriors of light forged in the darkest corners of existence, united to carve their own destinies. With the fire of their journey ignited, they took their first steps into the unknown, embodying the thrill of new beginnings, a future filled with adventure, love, and the unquenchable desire for freedom that pulsed like the stars lighting their way.